Thank you for tuning in to Melanomics. I'm your host, JD Garnier. And listen, you need to prepare yourselves to be inspired, informed, enlightened, and empowered. First things first, if you're not following me on social media, please follow me on Instagram at GarnierJD, Facebook at JD Garnier, and Twitter at JD Garnier1. Also, subscribe to the Melanomics YouTube channel. Now listen, today is a special day for me because this is my very first podcast episode. But I already know the question that you're asking yourself. What is Melanomics? Well, I'm going to break that down for you in a second, but listen, I can't start this podcast without talking about this past year. We've been through a lot this past year, and I don't care who you are, you were impacted in some way. Physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, or all of the above. There was some impact on your life that made you take a step back and pause. Now, a year ago around this time, everything was normal. And then coronavirus shut down the whole economy, and it exposed all of our problems at once. I'm talking about healthcare, income inequality, infrastructure. All of the things that we took for granted were exposed. And more specifically, problems in the black community that we've been talking about for decades came to light. The racial wealth gap, healthcare, police brutality, all of that stuff bubbled up at once and left us thinking about what the worst case scenario can be. But let me be clear. The economy for black Americans has always been directly rooted in history and culture. Our current circumstances are directly linked to systems of society that were set in place decades and centuries ago. From the location of our neighborhoods to the criminal justice system to our attitudes about money to the racial wealth gap, all of these realities have shaped and cultivated a specific economic environment for the black community. Melanomics. There's not just one cause for our problems, and there's not just one solution for our improvement. Instead, to improve our circumstances, both society and economic, takes a thoughtful discussion about our simplest ideas about who we are. And so Melanomics is a collective consideration of culture, society, history, resources, and capital in its relationship to black wealth. It's a deep dive between our conflicts of capitalism and community, consumption and preservation, and wealth and riches. I want you to think about wealth in a different way. Not as some tangible thing that you can just touch, see, or feel, but as an intangible, invisible, impenetrable access to and power and control over resources. Wealth is the ownership and control of resources. When you control resources, you have power. And when you have power, you have direct influence over the things and people that you care about. So it's not just about how much money is in your bank account, what you can afford to buy, how much real estate you have, what kind of car you drive. It is about your power and influence over the things and the people that you care about, both within your family and within your community. So it's a natural progression to say that the more wealth you have, the more influence you have over the things that you care about. When a group of people share a collective set of values, meaning they care about the same stuff, their wealth is multiplied towards those values, and it multiplies the result. And so wealth is not a specific asset value. It is a mindset shift. So before I get too deep, let me just take a step back and introduce myself so you guys know who I am and what I'm about. Not so much my credentials. Even though I'm a certified financial planner, certified exit planning advisor, I hold my Series 7 and 66 licenses. I have a law degree from South Texas College of Law. I have a business degree from Loyola University. I'm a published author. I've spoken all over the country. But guess what? None of that stuff means a damn thing. What's important about who I am and what I'm about is that I'm a late 70s baby, born in New Orleans, Louisiana. That's a city where you can be in the richest neighborhood and drive 3 blocks in any direction and wind up in one of the poorest neighborhoods. So the wealth disparity is on display all the time. I was born after the civil rights era, but before the internet age. When I was born, microwaves didn't even exist. I was around for the birth of the CD, the DVD, the cassette player, video games, Blu-rays, the internet, iPhones, and everything else. Now, most people in the generation before me lived through Jim Crow, but the generation after me, many of those people never experienced racism in their life. So if you think about it, my generation is the link between insurmountable obstacles and unlimited opportunity. I've heard the wisdom from my elders with their struggle, but I've also seen the opportunities that younger people have when they have the right information. And so Melanomics, and my goal with it, is to challenge the mindset that was born out of limitation and shift it to a mindset of expectation. Now, we're going to have some fun on this show as well. But again, welcome to Melanomics, and I'm your host, JD Garnier. Now, listen, we got a great guest on the show today. I'm going to get to him in a few minutes, but my goal is for him, and I hope that his story inspires you to follow your own wealth creation journey, because this guy has done amazing things, and I'm fortunate enough to know him and to call him a friend. Before I get into that, let's talk about some quick facts. Now, in 2019, a study came out called a racial wealth gap. If you're not familiar with that study, essentially, it outlines the wealth disparity between the black community and the white community. Let me give you some highlights. White Americans have over 7 times the wealth of black Americans on average. Now, though black Americans make up 13% of the population, we still hold less than 3% of all of the nation's wealth. The average net worth for a white family is $171,000. For a black family, it's $17,900. 19% of black households have zero or negative net worth. Now, since that study came out, there's been all kinds of talk about the reasons for the gap. But we all know that there's a historical element to that. But the question has also been lingering, how do we close the wealth gap? How do we increase the collective net worth of black Americans? Where do we start it? Is it group economics? Is it entrepreneurship? Is it access to capital? Is it investing? Well, listen, all of those things have their position in improving the economic circumstances. But for me, the beginning of that is much simpler than that. First, we have to understand what wealth is. And I think so many times we get confused about the difference between wealth and riches. But I understand that because everything we see on TV is about luxury, is about what we can buy, what we can acquire. And so it's easy to conflate the difference between being rich and being wealthy. But let me just make it simple for you. Rich is the accumulation of resources and money. But wealth is the relationship between time and money. You could be so good at your job that somebody's willing to pay you $1 million a year, and you can get rich. Or you could start your own business and be so profitable that you can make $1 million a year in profit, and you can get rich. But as long as your income is directly tied to your labor, you can't get wealthy. See, wealth comes when you make an increase in your money completely independent of an increase in your time. When you can completely separate the wealth that you have with the time that you spend, that is how you build wealth. And so as you're trying to build wealth, you have to figure out how to separate those two things. Now, with that statement comes a few ideas, right? Ownership, control, equity, land, vertical integration, investing. And we're going to talk about all of those things on Melanomics. But it's one thing for certain. We cannot close the wealth gap by just working. That's it. And so I'm looking forward. We're going to challenge the way you think. We're going to help shift that mindset. And we're going to talk to people that have started their own wealth creation journey so that we can be inspired by them. Now, again, if you're not following me, I need you guys to follow me on Instagram at GarnierJD, Facebook at JD Garnier, and Twitter at JD Garnier1. Also, if you have an organization that needs to be empowered, that needs to be galvanized, that needs to be inspired, please contact me and my team. There's no event too big, no event too small for us to be able to add value to. And with that, I just want to introduce our guests. And man, to be honest, it's just an honor for me to get this chance to do this with you. This is a guy that has such an impact on comedy. If you anywhere on social media, you've seen his videos. If you've been to a comedy club at your local city, you have seen him kill it on stage. He's been all over the world. And I just want to thank my man D-Lay for coming in. What's going on, D-Lay?
What's up, JD? What's up, good brother?
Man, it's all good, man. How you been doing?
Man, I'm dealing with an Achilles injury right now. I popped my Achilles trying to relive some hoop dreams that you and I both personally know we had back in the day. And
Oh my God.
so now I'm recovering.
So full disclosure. So man, I think we've been knowing each other what? 20 it's been almost 25 years.
25 years, yeah.
And so for those
25.
of you who don't know, D-Lay can ball. We played college basketball together, and that probably was one of the best years of my life. And one of the guys on our team was the leading scorer in the nation for NAIA. But
Yeah.
so man, you tore your Achilles. So how you holding up? How is that affecting your business?
You know what? It took me a minute to kind of digest that I'm down, I'm injured. You know, I played ball all my life and I've never been injured. And I just automatically, once I just grabbed a hold of I'm injured, I first of all accepted it. I'm injured. How do I fix that now? How do I fix it? I got to rehab. I got to keep my mind right and still get the business done. Because I mean, we're in a world where fortunately, if you have a viral game, if you have a digital world, then you can live and you can thrive.
Right.
So
Well,
yeah,
listen, man,
I'm fortunate, man. I'm just utilizing this downtime and being productive.
Okay. Well, listen, man. If you guys don't know, I mean, you have over 250,000 Instagram followers. You have hundreds of thousands of Facebook followers. But I don't know that people really know.
Hold on, Josh. I can't let you just throw me out there like that.
Okay.
I'm over 1 million
Give
on
it to
Facebook.
me.
I'm over 1 million.
Oh my. Okay. I
Yeah,
apologize
I'm
for
over
that.
1 million on
We're
Facebook.
okay. We're over 1 million. Okay.
I want your audience to know the truth about me. I want them to know the truth.
This is platinum status Facebook. Platinum status.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you how deep I am. I'm in the game. I can call somebody right now from Facebook. You don't know nobody that even knows somebody at Facebook.
Okay.
It's hard.
It's
And
hard to get somebody on the line.
I'm only bragging because I just got this connect about a week ago. So I'm only bragging because of that.
Man, well, that's big time. Well, listen, tell your 1 million Facebook followers and your hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers, this is what I want to know. When did you know that you were committed to comedy? Tell me about where you were at in your life where you said, you know what, this is the route I want to follow.
Wow, great question, Josh. First of all, congratulations on the new platform, on the new your new social media presence. I definitely think this is a lane totally for you. You get it, and they're gonna get you. I can't wait to see it take off, and I'm gonna be supportive of it, doing everything on my end to make sure that everybody knows about this new brand. I always had a goal that ultimately I was going to be doing comedy full time. I knew that. So I'm in Vegas and I'm working as a blackjack dealer at the Wynn. And I'm very spontaneous. If you read my new book, The Journey Behind the Smile, it talks about my spontaneity in my life. But I was getting comfortable in a position at work, because you find yourself in life when you start making a lot of money and you're not pursuing your passion, it can do two things. It can halt you to say, wait a minute. I'm getting too invested into this other person's job instead of working on what my passion is. So I had that mindset already. Once I had what I felt like was enough saved up, I jumped. With a wife, 2 kids. I jumped because it was certain things that were happening on this job that was leading me to believe that it was going to have a longevity for me if I didn't make a stop to it myself.
Right.
For instance, the week before I was about to quit as a dealer, we're making $100,000 a year as a dealer in Las Vegas.
Right.
week before I'm about to quit, my supervisor approached me. She said, D, we love what you're doing here. It's just like I don't want to call it the devil. I don't want to but it was just
They was trying to
an
suck you
energy
in. Right, right,
to suck you back in. I'm
right.
making 100,000 a year, right? Which is nice for a dealer. She says, D, we're going to bring you in for an evaluation. We want to promote you to supervisor. Supervisor goes from anywhere from 150 to $200,000 a year. I said, God damn it, here they go. How do you say no when you never had $150,000?
Right.
How do you say no? But I was leaning on my passion. If I accepted that 150 to $200,000 raise, then I'm now stagnant in pursuing what my career and what
You in
my
the rat
passion should be.
race. You in the rat race.
I'm in the rat race.
You in it.
Because guess what? The next time I go to jump out the window, they're gonna say, "Hey D, how about 300,000?" I'm like, "Okay, cool." Now I've wasted 2 years
Right.
in the rat race.
Okay.
So I knew I didn't want to do so right away. When they offered me that 150, I said nope. Now I was a gambler at this time, so I had $10,000 on me. I could not have said no without it. I had to have some kind of money on me. So I was like, no, no, it's not a good day. So and when I went home that day, I said, I did the right thing. Because that 150, I'm gonna get to a point where I'm making $150,000 a show.
Right. Right.
Because it's my passion that's gonna be pushing me
So you
and
so
bringing that
you
to me.
were willing to take the risk and bet on yourself as opposed to
Period.
security of a nice salary.
Yeah, and let me tell you something. That takes a mindset.
Right.
Because like I said, man, everybody has, and at this point, I've never seen $200,000.
Right.
I've never seen $150,000. I don't know what it's like. I'm making $100,000 a year, but I don't see that 100. I mean, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Yeah. You
I'm in a
already in it.
position.
Right. You paying
I'm in
bills. You
it.
already in the rat race.
I'm already in it. So I remember saying no. I remember saying no. But then I remember the day that I quit. The day that I quit was probably one of the biggest moves of my life. I was playing blackjack. Now, here's the deal. The people that don't know, I was a blackjack dealer with a gambling problem. I'm gonna say it again. I know you probably think you heard it wrong. I was a blackjack dealer with a gambling problem. Now, the day that I quit, I went over to Planet Hollywood and I was gambling. I was playing blackjack. And I think I won like $20,000 or something like that playing because I was a heavy gambler. I would play
Right.
hard. I remember my buddy, he believed in me so much. I remember I said to him, I said, hey man, I'm gonna go over to the win and quit. I'm gonna link back up with you later on. He said, all right, man, let me know what's up. Now, most people, if you say that something like, hey man, I'm about to go quit the job that pays my bills, they're gonna be like, you sure? Okay, what's up next? He didn't say nothing, but hey,
Nothing.
all right, man, hit me up when you finish. I walked into the casino, and I would always walk in the casino in the mindset of, I'm going to my blackjack table, and everybody in this casino is here to see me. All these cars in the parking lot, they're here to see me. I would do that every day. Every day I pulled up at work, I worked the grade shift, 4 a.m. to noon. I would pull up, and my mindset before I got out of my car was, all these people are here to see me again today. Wow. Wow. But this day I'm going in to quit. I walk in, and I'm in regular clothes. I walk past the wardrobe, and I would always talk to everybody in the casino, any department. They all knew me. I would talk to everybody. I walk in, first people I see is wardrobe. Hey, D, what you doing here? I'm like, oh, I'm here to quit. I'll talk to you later. Walk off. They laugh. Oh my gosh, he's crazy. They have no idea. I'm
You
serious. I'm
serious as
dead
a heart
ass.
attack.
I'm finished with this. Keep walking. I see the Latina ladies. They're always in groups. They're housekeeping. Hola, hola, dile, hola. I'm like, hey, what's going on? You're off today. Why are you here? I'm here to quit. Ah, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Nobody believes me. I'm really coming to quit. Now, the win, that's the underground. The second level is the casino floor. I walk into the casino floor. It's during the day shift. Some of the day shift people see me, the dealers, the supervisors. They're like, hey, man, what are you doing here on your off day? I was like, I'm looking for the director of table games. I'm here to quit. Everybody's laughing. They think I'm joking.
They don't believe
They
it.
really think I'm joking.
They don't believe it.
Now, I got $10,000 cash in my pocket.
That's your saving grace.
I got that for security, my own security. Yes. I go up to the director of table games. He says, "Diggy, it said you wanted to see me. What's going on?" I said, "Yeah, man, I'm here to quit." And he giggled. Man, that's good. So what brings you here? I'm here to quit. I'm not gonna deal anymore. He said, "You got something lined up?" No. You got a movie you writing on? Or you gonna be no? I'm quitting. He said, if you quit, you're not gonna be eligible for rehire. I said, perfect. I quit. Reach in my pocket, that 10,000 was still there. I get up, leave out. Everybody's like, hey man, where you coming from? It's a different group now. I'm like, man, I just quit. He's crazy. They don't believe me. I go downstairs, housekeeping, the ladies, what are you doing here? I just quit my job. Enjoy. Nobody believes me. Wardrobe, same thing. Quit. I'll never forget the next day that I woke up. I will never forget that feeling. I woke up that morning. I got up at it's like 3 o'clock, 2:45. 2:45 I got up in a rush because I worked the grave shift. 2:45, I'm usually up and about getting ready to get my uniform together. And I remember getting up and I was like, oh my, I'm free. You understand? I'm free.
You out.
I'm not obligated to the job. From here on, however I get money, it's on me.
It's on you.
I'm the entity. And I remember that exhilarating feeling of freedom.
See, I don't think
nothing
people,
like that.
I don't think people understand how powerful that feeling is, and so many times we get caught in the rat race. In that comfort, that comfortability of the salary, of the benefits, and everybody's situation is different, right? So they can't just jump out and do that. But if you have something like you knew you wanted to be in comedy, you just knew it.
Yeah.
And even if you would have took that $150,000, as much as you could have bought with that, it would not have taken away that feeling of regret. And so you were willing to take that risk. So let me ask you this question. How did you when did you know that you were actually good? Because it's one thing to want to have a dream, it's another thing to say, okay, I got something here. So when did you realize, hey, I got something special?
I'm gonna double up for you. I'm gonna go two ways. I'm gonna tell you when I knew I wasn't good. I'm gonna tell you when I knew I wasn't good enough to be amongst conversations of the funniest. I remember. And then I'm gonna take you to when I knew I had hit my mark. Where I'm like, hey, you're gonna pay me.
Okay.
I moved to Las Vegas. I'm doing well gambling. I'm gambling. So that means at any point, this whole situation could change. I can start taking a downturn. So I'm doing well gambling. I'm taking my gambling money and I'm going to LA. Every weekend I'm going to LA because I need to see what the talent level is like in LA.
Right.
I'm coming from Louisiana, moving to Vegas where I don't really have a gauge on what the comedy temperature is. So let me go to the NBA where I know I'm going to see all the big dogs. I go into this comedy club called Ha Ha Cafe, run by a lady named Terry. Terry and I are good friends now. Very cool lady, Middle Eastern lady, very strict about her business, no nonsense, runs the comedy club, her and her husband. I walk in the comedy club. I never forget, JD, I had on an all leather outfit. I just gambling money. I had a whole leather outfit.
You got on the Eddie Murphy Raw.
All leather. I got the raw information on me. I got it on me. And I walked up to her and I was like, because they told me she was the owner. So I walked over to the list, and the comedy club is always a list. I looked at the list. I didn't really know any of those people. So I walked up to her, and as I walked up to her, I noticed she's really busy and she's aggravated. She's testy. So I said, let me wait till I have a moment where I see she's cool. She's cool. I can make a move on it because I'm trying to ask her for stage time. And I see her, she's pacing, and the dude on stage is bombing. He's losing it. So I see her, and she says, she's talking to herself. She says, oh my gosh, nobody is funny. I need funny people tonight, funny. So I walked up to her, I said, hey, I'm funny. Let me get some stage time. She looks, her head is down. She looks at, she says, who are you? I said, I'm D-Lay. Who? I'm delay. Okay. It was only the outfit that got me that stage time. Period. It was the outfit.
The leather
That
outfit.
nothing else but the outfit.
Hey,
Period. The leather outfit got me on stage. She says, okay, I give you 3 minutes. I said, 3 minutes? You don't want? I take. I said, okay, cool. I'll take the 3 minutes. Cool. Get the 3 minutes. Host brings me up, coming up stage from Louisiana, give it up for D-Lie. Tears my whole damn name up. That's when I knew this is not my night. I go on stage, and I've never worked out I've never done any comedy on the West Coast. I don't know what it's like. And I have this regional material from Louisiana that I brought here. I do my first joke, flatline, no laughs, nothing. I'm like, oh my gosh, I panic. I do the second joke, flatline, third joke, flatline. Now I'm bombing. I'm bombing.
you
I
sweating
know
bricks
I'm
in that
bombing. Every
leather.
comedian that's been on stage. Every person that has spoken on stage before knows when you have lost this audience. You know. So I said to myself, I gotta get off this stage. I look too nice to be bombing. I gotta get out of here. Okay, man, it's my time. I'm delayed. They didn't even clap on my way off. That's how bad I was.
They just let you walk in silence.
They let me sit in my own silence.
So that's how
I
you knew
woke
you were
up.
bad. Tell me when it
That's
changed.
how I knew it. That trip taught me. I said, oh my gosh, I bombed terribly. I'm driving back to Vegas. Vegas from Los Angeles. It's like a 3.5, 4 hour drive. It took me 6 hours to drive. I'm just driving and reflecting. Oh my gosh, I am terrible. I have to get my act together. And on that trip, I made a conscious decision. I'm going back to Vegas and I'm going to hit every open mic. I'm going to hit every stage. I'm not going back out to LA until my act is all the way perfect. I stayed 2 years. Every chance I get, I was working it. Different clubs, all black clubs, hood clubs, all white clubs, the casinos. I'm working the dance club, any place that'll give me the mic, I'm taking it.
Now hold up.
Then
I'm
I
gonna
got
just
to the
stop you
point.
right there.
I
Cause you just said something so powerful. After you failed what you were trying to do. See, failure
yes,
shows you a lot about yourself, right? You could have went
ooh,
back and say, man, I need to figure out how to get back in the casino. I need to figure out, you could have been like, maybe this is not for me. But you immediately decided after your lowest point that you were going to refine your skills and get better. So you made a decision
right,
after failure that that wasn't it. So I wanted to stop on that, man, because
absolutely,
that's powerful, because that's the difference sometimes in somebody making it and somebody getting caught up not pursuing their passion or their dream, is that fear of
yeah.
failure.
That's what I call the fork in the road because once you leave home, me, I'm not. I don't want no plan B. I don't want no kind of cushion. I have to make this or die. I'm putting it on God. Hey God, you gave me the gift. Why I'm not making it? I'm not going to work no job. This is a gift. You gave it to me. You're
Yep.
not gonna provide a way, and I believe you provide a way. I'm gonna sit in that truth.
Yes,
I'm gonna
sir.
sit in that truth. That's
Yes.
the fork in the road that people come to in their career, in their lives, and it comes from failure. It comes from failure. It comes from you getting your head cracked.
That's
And
real.
you saying, "Oh my gosh, I'm bleeding. Let me lay down until somebody comes to help me." Nobody's gonna come help you. Apply a tourniquet, stop the bleeding, get back up. That's how it goes.
Man, you just inspired a whole section with that one, man. I promise you. Now let me ask you this question. I just want to shift it for a second, man, because
Mhm.
what's interesting to me is some comedians are really, really good on social media, but they have zero stage presence. And some comedians, they kill it on the mic, but they have no social media presence. And for whatever
Right.
reason, you have been able to thrive in both. Your stand up is amazing, you kill it, but then now you have a million followers on social media and you have created a presence there. What do you think is the difference in the two in terms of being funny, and how do you think you've been able to be successful at both?
I'm glad you asked, Josh. I'm glad that you asked me that question, JD, because most comedians haven't found out how to live on the internet. They don't want to, the older ones didn't want to conform to what the new life was. But it comes down to this. The internet is about honesty. Honesty always wins on the internet. And if you're afraid to be vulnerable, then you're not gonna get that far. Because that audience that sits there and watches you all the time is gonna pick up on, hey, that's not real. That's not real. And a lot of comedians are scared to expose themselves like that. I know this is a gift. I know it. So if I go on stage and I lay my whole honest truth out and say things of how I feel, and I go to social media and I can take a lane and figure out what is honesty for that particular audience, then I've made myself a hybrid. I'm able to function as a stand-up and I'm able to function as a social media guy. And it's crazy because those are two different worlds.
Absolutely.
I remember when my first viral video hit, I was doing stand-up comedy. I'm on the road with Bill Bellamy, and we are doing this after party, and this girl walks up to me. She was like, oh my gosh, it's you. You the dude from Things Pastors Say. She didn't even know my name. I'm like, what? Yes. Oh my gosh, I saw you on that video using a tree. Oh my gosh. This is, what you doing here? I was like, I had a comedy show. Oh my gosh, I knew you was a comedian. You don't even know. It's two different worlds.
Right.
It hit me. Oh my gosh. What if I came proficient in the social media world and over here?
So
You can't stop me now. You mean to tell me I can have people watch me on their phone and be entertained? JD, I don't ever have to go hit a live stage if I don't want to ever again.
right, right.
Ever.
And you know
I'm
what?
just I'm in love with the craft, so I choose to do that.
But the crazy thing about it is you were doing that before coronavirus, but now you almost have been forced to create some kind of
Yes.
presence, and not everybody can do that. But now you don't have a choice.
No. Now you don't have a choice. And the pandemic made you realize something as a stand-up. If you're a stand-up comedian, if you're an actor, if you're a musician, whatever it is you do, if that's all that you do and you don't have any type of digital real estate, you're going to fall deeply behind. Because what happens? How do you create a lane for yourself when there's no one there to see you directly, when there's no live audience? What do you do then?
Right.
What do you do then? And for some, and it's never too late. And for some, it was like, oh man, I got to get started going on. That's what makes a champion. You don't start from the middle, you got to start from the bottom. And you work your way up into you. And the thing about what stand-up comedians is, we're used to that instant gratification.
Right.
Social media doesn't necessarily happen like that. You may do a video, it may only get 300 views. It may only get 300 views. And as a stand-up comedian, that hurts your soul. Because wait a minute, only 300 people like this, so now you're discouraged from it. And now you lean on, well, I'm a real stand-up comic. No. You have to be a real business-minded person.
Right.
How do I thrive in a lane that has nothing there for me? I have to go create it. And that's what kills most social media influencers. They don't put out the consistency in which it takes to draw that audience.
So let
This is
me
a
follow.
perfect show. This show. Go ahead.
Absolutely. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I want to follow with something that you just said. So you dropping some jewels on creating digital real estate, creating that presence. Tell me, with the way the world has changed, tell me about some ways, not just in comedy, but people on social media, period, can make money.
I'm glad you asked. And listen, it's people out there that's sitting on money, meaning your intellectual property, you. It's some people out there that are amazing cooks. What I'm gonna do with that? I'll show you how to monetize that. Because there's some people out there that do not know how to cook. So now it's up to you to put together a team, a film crew to say, hey, listen, come watch me cook. I don't know how to cut up the video. I'm not an editor. That's not your job. You cook. You cook. Just cook. Just cook.
Just do your
Take
talent.
that first step to doing what that passion that you have is. And all the other stuff, I promise you, the universe hears you. All of that other stuff, it's going to come. It'll come. And that's in anything that you want to do. Because right now the game is, what do you have that can make me pay attention to? This particular channel, like I was about to say, this particular channel, it is going to reach both sides. It's going to definitely reach our people because we need to see somebody that looks like us talking about money. You know, we need to see somebody that mimics us, that can relate to our background and to speak our language. Because a lot of times we feel like, I don't want to know about no stocks and no bonds. You know, that white boy, that's that white shit. It's not. It's not. That's why I think this show is so important because it's coming from somebody that can identify with the people.
Well, I appreciate that, man. And one of the reasons I wanted to have you on is because you've been so good at personal branding. And it doesn't matter what you're selling. If you're not selling yourself, you can't be successful. And I've seen you be able to do that in multiple ways, and it's been real special. So tell me about what you got going on right now.
Man, JD, I have my book out, The Journey Behind the Smile. You can get that off my website. If you want it personally autographed, you can get it off my website. It's delay.com. Or if you want to just get it real quick right away, that's next day, you can order it off Amazon. The book, like you said, man, it's definitely going to touch anybody that puts their eyes on it. It's inspirational. It'll make you laugh. It'll make you cry. It'll make you think. But mostly it'll inspire you. I have a new show, as you can see, the Delay Show. It is some new digital real estate that I'm creating, a storytelling platform where I'm able to bring in some of my celebrity friends, and we sit down and we tell stories. But it's just not that. I'm going to be bringing in guys like yourself who are money men and understand the landscape of finances. I just want to have a well-rounded show, but a humorous one from my brand of humor. But I want to bring in different people that have perspectives that my audience will want to listen to.
Right, right. And you just mentioned something about, and I wanted to bring this up earlier because one of the things that's unique about your comedy is your ability to tell stories. Has anybody ever approached you, or have you considered writing for either media or television shows? Or because, I mean, storytelling is how you make the art visual. So tell me about your kind of thought behind that, and is that something that you realized about yourself?
I'm in a frame of mind in which I want to own it all. Everything that I do, I want to own it. I wrote a TV series about my life called Uncle Roommate. I own that. I own that. It's a story about me being an 8-year-old living in a room with a 40-year-old, and it's a hilarious comedy, and it's coming from a dark place in my life. I own that. I've had people ask me to write on certain things. I will lend my hand in writing, but I'm more along the line of, I know I'm a storyteller. I want ownership. I want my sons, when I'm not here, I want my sons to be like, oh yeah, we're doing the, episode 236 of Uncle Roommate. That's what I'm leaving behind for my sons. My book, I want to leave them. I own that. This is not no publishing company that came along. This is something that I said, I'm going to put this I'm going to put the pen to paper and make it happen. So when it comes to writing, I'm definitely open to it. But more than anything, I want to own anything I'm putting the pen to the pad to. I want to own it.
Ownership.
I'm open to sharing. But I'm about ownership.
Right. You understand the importance of owning your brand and owning your content. So listen, man, I really appreciate this, man, and you dropped some serious jewels. I mean, about ownership, about failure, about following your passion. The last question I want to ask you is more personal, because in recent videos you've added your kids, and you got 2 boys that they seem like they have a talent on their own. So tell me, was that something purposeful or was it accidental, and how involved are they in your comedy?
Man, I'm glad you asked. They are inclusive when I want to bring them in, but for the most part, when I first started doing videos, the first video I did with my son JoJo, and it went like ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, they hit me up and dropped the check on me, ridiculousness, because I've been licensing the video out, Now let me tell you about the video. If you haven't seen the video, it's a video of me and my son, and I do the take it in videos when when guys get the haircuts, I'm looking good, I'm feeling good. And my sons they try to mimic everything I do. So I walk in on JoJo, and he's doing the whole I look good, right? And just so happened that day, I'm listening to jazz music, and it's on the Bluetooth. So he's talking, and I walk in, and I'm like, yeah, you look good, son. Hey, you used to be in my balls. You look, this video, who I don't think I didn't tag it or anything. I just looked at it and I just posted it. The next day, this video goes crazy. It's going nuts. The shade room, the ball alert. Everybody is on this video, and I'm like, I didn't mean to do that. And from that video, now my sons hate social media, hate it. Hate it. Imagine going to school as a 12-year-old, and everywhere you go, you hear, you used to be in my balls. You used to be in my balls. You used to be in my balls. So he's like, hey man, you keep that little limelight. I'm good. Like anything behind the scenes you need me to do, I'm good. But yeah, that part of me, I wanted my audience to see me being a father. I wanted them to see a real side of me. My sons, very articulate young men, and I wanted the audience to see what they have become and to grow with them. Not so much pushing them into the limelight, but letting them be familiar with me as a father and just showing that side of me that you normally don't see from most comedians.
Right. Man, well, listen, man, I appreciate you giving me the time. I appreciate you gracing my audience with a lot of that wisdom about ownership and about failure and about finding that passion. Listen, if you haven't got it yet, you got to get D-Lay's book. You gotta tune into his show, the D-Lay Show. Take it in. If you're not following him on social media, follow him at It's D-Lay. Get the journey behind the smile. You'll learn a lot about his life journey, a lot about where he came from and how all of this stuff came to be. Again, D-Lay, man, I appreciate it, brother. We'll be talking soon, man.
Thank you, JD. I appreciate you, good brother. Take it easy.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. All right. Now, listen, as I close this off, I said earlier that my goal with Melanomics was to shift your mindset to one of expectation, a mindset of expectation. What are your expectations? Expectation is a strong belief that something is going to be. And when you expect something, you live your whole life in accordance with that expectation. Everything you do aligns with what you expect to happen. Nothing can convince you otherwise. But when you don't expect something, how do you expect it to manifest itself in your life on purpose? As a community, we've all been taught not to expect anything. And so our expectations can continue to get there because nothing is met. And so when I say I want to challenge your mindset to one of expectation, what I'm saying is I want you to live your life in accordance with what you expect to happen. That's going to change the way you act. That's going to change what you think about and what you do. And hopefully as a community, we can start to acting in accordance with that. Now, until next time, we're going to have a good time on this show. We're going to talk to business owners, entrepreneurs, CEOs, attorneys, lawyers, CPAs. But I want you to think about this before you leave. What you want will always be a fantasy until how to get it becomes your reality. With that, thank you for tuning in to Melanomics. I'm your host, JD Garnier, and I'm out.